name is Tasman, otherwise known as the Aspiring Kryptonian, and I'm here to share with you the first of my 4 interviews from San Diego Comic-Con. Now, the first one is with Mark Waid, and there are interviews from Nicole Maines, Matt Fraction, and Philip Kennedy Johnson to come. And here it is. I hope you enjoy. Hello, my name is Tasman, and I'm sitting here at San Diego Comic-Con on the DC booth with none other than Mark Waid. How's your con going so far?
It's going quite well, and you?
Yeah, good so far.
What's been the high point? What's been the high point so far?
Oh,
Besides this,
I mean, this is probably a highlight for me, but I love getting my comics signed, so I've been going all around Artist Alley doing all that sort of stuff.
Excellent.
So, yeah. How about you?
Good. I mean, it's really seriously, it's just meeting the fans and having such a great reception to some of the stuff I've been doing.
Yeah.
That's you work at home all day long.
Yeah,
You're just insulated, and so you don't get the feedback, and so being at a convention is a great chance to get that feedback.
Amazing. So, World's Finest, Action Comics, Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
You're a very busy man.
Right.
How are you doing it?
And Batman Year One, Batman and
course.
Robin Year One, and History of DC Universe. So.
Yes, of course.
I don't know. I'm like the coyote in those Roadrunner cartoons. If I look down, I will fall. So I honestly think I still have the passion for the characters.
Yeah.
And I still wake up every morning feeling like I have something to say about them that maybe you haven't heard before.
Yeah.
And so that's really what keeps me going.
Yeah. And what's it like to work on so many titles at the same time with all the different story arcs that are going on?
I never get confused about what story I'm working on, but it is hard sometimes because you have to, especially if you're telling an emotional story, you have to like ramp up.
Yeah.
It's like an actor; you have to sort of ramp up and get in the groove, get in the role, and then if I halfway through that I suddenly have to break off and do something else because an artist needs pages,
Right.
That's the only time where it gets a little hard to do because shifting gears immediately is hard to do. Like I need like an hour or two in between just to get my head straight.
Yeah. And which of those titles are your favorite that you're working on at the moment?
Oh man, I mean,
No pressure.
it's hard. I will always have a soft spot for World's Finest because when I first came back from DC, that the question was, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "That's what I want to do." And it's okay, great. That was the dream book.
And I just want to say that little mini story with Batmite and Mr. Mixterberg.
Thank you.
Oh my god,
Thank you.
It was fantastic.
I think that's the best thing we've done in that book so far.
Honestly, I'm a sucker for those characters. Seeing them back into comics, it's amazing. And Bizarro World. So at the moment we're going into that. So very excited for that. By the way, I love Bizarro. What can you tell us about what's to come in that story arc?
Over the years, have done a lot of real world physics research on what a cube world would be. What are the physics of a cube world? How would that work? How would the weather work? How would all of that stuff work? And so being able to build a story out of that was fun.
Yeah.
So it starts with a plague is happening on the Bizarro world that is making the people talk and speak normally.
Yeah.
And it's freaking them out because they suddenly realize they're on the Bizarro world and it's like hell. Oh my God, I can't be. But then it builds into something much bigger, and it goes back to the problem with the cube world is that the reason planets are round is because gravity works universally around a planet. You can't have a cube planet because otherwise it would just start to cave in. Right. Well, you can't have a cube planet or else things will start to cave in. So there's your story.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And in terms of Clark and Superboy, I'm actually doing a reading order where at the moment I'm going through the Silver Age comics.
Oh, excellent.
At the moment. So I love getting to see him back in sort of modern comics.
Where are you at this? In the
I think I'm on 1962 at the moment. So I'm trying to read each individual.
It really, there's a period in 1968 or so where it really kicks into gear.
Okay.
And there's a writer named Frank Robbins who came along at that time and started doing stories about young Clark that were about the Superboy you're reading, and I love that Superboy, is really just a short Superman.
Yeah.
And he was the first writer who came along and said, no, teenagers have hormones. Teenagers have things going on. Teenagers have conflict with their parents. And so that's a big inspiration for what we're doing now.
And I was going to say, that's what I love about what you're doing with Clark at the moment, because he's making mistakes. He's doing all these random things. He's getting used to his powers, which is something that I really love to see.
He doesn't have a costume yet, so he's still wearing chucks. Yeah.
No, it's brilliant. So what made you want to bring that version of Clark back?
I've always loved that version, but I like the idea that you get to see how he became a hero. That Superman is in fact pretty much infallible today, and as he should be. And he can make the occasional mistake, but basically Superman is this whole thing is he's infallible. So let's get back to the period where he learned how to use his powers, how he learned to make mistakes, how he learned to, the sort of the Smallville of it all. How does that translate into a character that you love but is also flawed?
And I did a group interview with you probably a couple of months ago now with DC as well, and I asked a question about how it links in with Smallville, because there were references that I noticed that was very similar to the TV series.
Yeah.
So how is that going to impact, or how is that series impacted what you're going to do?
It doesn't really, except in the fact that I've seen it, I loved it, and so it's in the back of my head. But the biggest impact has always been that I've said over and over again, the smartest thing Smallville ever did was make the Kents young. Because before that, they were always white-haired old people who sat in easy chairs and baked pies, and that's it. They were grandparents.
Yeah.
And so by the TV show making them young and vital, suddenly you have drama within the family. Suddenly you have parent-child conflicts that you didn't have before, and that is awesome.
Yeah. And in terms of Justice League Unlimited, which also I'm loving at the moment.
Thank you.
So you're bringing all of these characters, some obviously the big hitters like Superman, you've got Batman and Wonder Woman, but also characters like Mr. Terrific are coming back obviously now with the new Superman film.
Yeah.
He's very popular at the moment. But what made you want to choose some of the smaller characters that you're bringing into the limelight?
That I think that there are a lot of characters that are sort of buried, that have been forgotten, that I think still have some juice in them, and I think I have something to say about them. And so that's how Dr. Occult shows up in the book. That's how Airwave shows up in the book. Every issue is put together with a spreadsheet where it's like, okay, I want 2 or 3 characters that are A-level characters like Superman and Batman. I need 3 or 4 characters that are B-level characters but still good, like Mary Marvel or whoever.
Yeah.
And then I always want at least one forgotten character, so that it's a reader's point of view. First off, Airwave was reader's point of view.
Yeah.
That's what made that character work. But also, I've loved a lot of these hidden, forgotten characters for such a long time that I've just been yearning to write them for years.
And you say you've got a spreadsheet, but have you got like a list of all the characters that you want to bring into any sort of series?
I literally do. It started with World's Finest. It started with when I started with World's Finest. It was before I wrote a single word. I just wrote a list of every DC character that I really loved, and then so I just every month, just taking them off. Yep.
And what are some of the more obscure characters on that list?
I mean, Dr. Occult was about as deep cut as you can get.
Yeah.
Ultra the Malta Alien, also a huge deep cut on that list, and he's going to be a big player in year 2 of this book. Gosh, I mean, there's so many. I think that there's mileage in Bullet Man. I think there's mileage in more Mary Marvel. I think there's mileage in some of the really forgotten characters like Space Cabbie. I just think there's the ace in the hole I have is Dan. Is that Dan Mora can take any of these characters, even as clunky and campy as they look, and every month I'll send him a reference on a character and say, this is from 1962. Please do not feel beholden by this, because this is a very 60s design. And he will send it back and he'll redesign the character, but it'll look the same. But it just looks cool.
Yeah. I mean, Dan Mora is an
incredible talent. I never let go of that guy.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And he can fit so many characters on and spare no detail as well.
He wants to draw everybody at some point. So good for him.
Yeah. He's probably got a list like you where he's taking
I'm sure he does.
Off.
Oh, he does, because I ask him all the time,
Really?
like, who have we not hit yet? Catwoman? Okay, we'll put Catwoman in the book. Yeah.
It's nice that you've got a little relationship where you can kind of do that with each of them. So in terms of Justice League Unlimited, that's leading up to the DCKO event.
Yes.
What are you most excited for readers to see with that?
That we get to do a deep dive on the villains. Because that's really where the villains are going to be during KO. There's villainous activity in KO, but it's very much centered on the superheroes.
Yeah.
So JLU is a chance to look at, okay, what's happening on Earth while all the superheroes are busy doing other stuff.
Right.
So Mr. Terrific is going to have to assemble like a sort of a B team of time traveling characters like Electric Blue Superman in his speed skater costume, and Batman Beyond or whatever, and deal with this. And the goal there is to do more of what we've been talking about, which is take some of the more obscure characters and show you why they're awesome.
Yeah. And in terms of, because I was in the panel for that, so you mentioned in the panel that there's going to be one survivor from that
Yeah.
team.
Yes.
Obviously, don't spoil it, but what can you tell us about that whole story arc?
It is a suicide mission, and Mr. Terrific knows it's a suicide mission. I haven't decided yet whether everybody else knows it's a suicide
Okay.
mission or not. But they are mostly, for the most part, it's Batman Beyond, but because of all the time shenanigans and time travels that's going on, it's more of like a temporal shadow of Batman Beyond. It's more of like a temporal shadow of Jonah Hex. So
Okay.
they're the character, but they are expendable in a way that doesn't screw up continuity.
Right.
So one of them is real, though, and they don't know which one is real.
Right.
And Mr. Terrific knows which one is real. And if you take that one out of the timeline by accident, then everything just goes belly up.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a very exciting time
Thank
for
you.
DC, and I'm loving everything that you're doing at the moment. And thank you for talking to me.
Of
It's
course,
been
my
an honor.
pleasure. Take care.
Thank you.